Hey, this is JD Frost. Welcome to the Daily Ledger Podcast. We are going over the life ledger in these episodes, chapter by chapter, giving you backstories to the stories, giving you a little bit more insight of the thoughts and additional insight to each one of the different chapters and ideas that are in the book. Hopefully that is what you will get from this podcast. If you want to purchase the book, go to www.thelifeledgerbook.com and you can go ahead and purchase a copy of the book if you have not already. This book's really special to me. It's something that's a dream of mine. I literally, as I'm sitting here looking at it, I cannot believe that actually accomplished this very, very large goal that I set out 4 years ago. And I'm extremely proud of it and appreciate everybody who has purchased the book so far and that is applying this to their lives. It means a lot to me to know that having that kind of an impact. I think everybody should write a book. If you have a business, if you're living your life and you've thought about doing it, it is an extremely fulfilling project to accomplish and to execute on. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I know a lot of people have been trying to write one book for their whole lives. Dedicate 2 or 3 years to it and get it done. If you need help getting connected with anybody into the industry, I'd love to connect you with those people, maybe help you get connected with publishers or media people as well. But highly, highly recommend it. If anything, as I had dedicated this book to my girls, Lainey, Sally, and Molly, I would do it for your family, one way or the other. Chapter 5, Life Mapping. Step 2. There's certain steps that you got to take. We were talking about Chapter 4 last episode, which was Step 1, the creation of the foundation. Step 2 is life mapping. In this chapter, there is a certain process that you can follow in order to map out your life. And the whole point is to bring awareness. So I read this book by Robin Sharma. He says that the better awareness you have, the better choices you make, the better results you're going to get. So chapter 5 gives you more awareness of where you spend your time during the day. So every 30 minutes from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, you're writing down what you do in those 30-minute increments. So you spend 30 minutes doing something, then you write down exactly what you're doing. How many times you looked at your phone? Were you reading a book? Were you checking emails? Were you doing the dishes at home? What were you doing? How are you mapping out your life and how are you spending your time? It's extremely important as a part of step 2 so that you can capture and bring as much awareness as possible to your daily routine. Just like when you are running a business and you're trying to figure out, did I make money? Did I not make money? Your life map, quote unquote, for your business is your bank statements. It's the transactions that are in your bank account that are telling you whether or not you made money, where you spent your money, where your cash went, where your cash came from. How did it come into your company? Was it revenue? Was it loans? Was it investors? The transactions of your life is this life map that you create in chapter 5. So we go in here and we're talking about how to map out your life for these 30-minute increments. Now, there's different rules of life mapping, and you got to abide by these rules so that you capture all that activity. Just like in your bank account, there are certain transactions that happen that, like, oh, maybe you don't want to admit that you spent, that $500 at the shopping mall or whatever, or you gave that friend that $300 that was never going to pay you back. You kind of look at that transaction, you're like, oh man, I don't want that to be in there. You've got to be honest with yourself. You got to be brave. You got to be selfish. You got to be forgiving. You got to be resilient. These 5 rules are required for you to be able to get an honest assessment of where you spend your time. Because if you've heard me say this before, you'll hear me say it again. Time is money. And I believe that we all are financially free. We all have the ability to be free of our finances, not be bound by how much money we're making, how much money we got in the bank account, how much debt we have. We are not bound by that if we are free from our finances. And in order to get free from your finances, we got to be free with our time. We've got to have the ability to spend our time the way that we need to in order to accomplish our goals. And the way to do that is to bring more awareness so that we're making better choices so that we get better results. So in chapter 5, not only do you have to take those 30-minute increments to ensure that you have all the activity that you've got going on in your life mapped out, it's not only going to involve just your workday. This is from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. And the more detailed you are, the more honest you are with where you're spending your time, the more awareness you're going to have of that. And you're going to find so much time, just like if you audited your bank statements, if you paid more attention to where your money was going and where it was coming from, you would create more opportunities to make more money and or save more money or invest more money. Where our attention is where our energy goes. So in this life mapping process, the whole point that we're trying to get across here is the more that we are able to detail out where we're spending our time and our activity, the better choices that we're going to make, and we'll get better results. At the very beginning of this chapter, I love this quote. It's from Maya Angelou. You can't really know where you are going until you know where you've been. So we've got to figure out where we have been in order to adjust where we are going. Much like in a business, and a lot of the Life Ledger and this system to help you reach your goals, as you read the book, you'll start to see the correlation between accounting, finance, auditing your financial statements, auditing your life, mapping out your life, where you spend your time. That's like the general ledger, basically. That's where all the accounts, all the different transactions for your business, the transactions of your life is the time that you spend. You're mapping all those out so that then you can audit it and label it as an asset activity or liability activity, which is what we're going to talk about in chapter 6. So very, very key part to your system, to building this system, is this life mapping. Thank you so much for tuning into the Daily Ledger podcast. Really appreciate you listening. If you don't mind, write a review, give us a 5-star rating. And if you have not checked out my YouTube channel, please go check that out. We've got some other podcasts, some new videos that are being posted there regularly. It's a great place to get some longer form content if you've enjoyed this. And that YouTube channel is J.D. Frost Today.